It's Japanese for eggplant. Why do you think people called him?
His favorite vegetable is eggplant.
He had a big vegetable.
He likes to eat big vegetable.
You guys are disgusting because he had a very long face. It was almost a foot long. I'm gonna break it from the back. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and today we are back with another
Dun, dun.
mukbang. Woo! So I'm excited today because we've got an entire thing of turkey. This is Thanksgiving turkey. I cooked it myself. He was like, "Are you sure it's cooked?" It's fully cooked, bro. It's a 7-pound delicious turkey that we're gonna eat the whole thing practically. Hey. We also have it with oh well, you should introduce it, Mr. Colonel Sanders.
Hello everybody.
Yes, what's your name?
Colonel Sanders.
Okay.
This is I can't see. Chicken sandwich, spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah. A spicy chicken bowl.
Yeah, and chicken tenders.
Nashville chicken tenders. There we go. We've got a Thanksgiving feast ahead of us. But before we get started, you're probably thinking, wow, you guys look different. You guys look sexy. You guys look cool. Where'd you get those glasses, huh? Have you guys heard of that Reddit thread that talks about what's the most expensive thing in your house that a robber would never take? Maybe it's a sentimental item. But if you guess prescription eyeglasses, you're right. Because I don't know why, ever since I was young, it's been ingrained in my brain that prescription eyeglasses are what?
Expensive.
Expansive, he said, okay? I had one pair of prescription eyeglasses that I would wear until they snapped in half, and then my mom would finally take me to get another pair. But with GlassesUSA.com, you don't have to do that anymore because they cut out the middleman, which means you can get prescription eyeglasses and sunglasses up to 70% off of retail prices without leaving the comfort of your home. These are from their Amelia E collection, their Muse collection. Those are the in-house brands. They're super affordable. He's also wearing GlassesUSA.com. They've got a lot of like designer brands like Ray-Bans, Oakley, Gucci, Tom Ford, but they also have really affordable ones. A complete pair of prescription eyeglasses and sunglasses starts at just $30 because a basic prescription lens comes with practically any pair on their website, and they've got thousands and thousands of eyeglasses to choose from. Now you're thinking, well, how do I try them on? When you go to the store, you're just spending all your time doing this, putting on all these glasses that a million people have tried on before you, right, to see if it fits your face. They've got a virtual try-on mirror. You upload a selfie of yourself and you can try on literally every single frame just on your face. So you know exactly which one is gonna fit your face shape the best. But if you get overwhelmed, if you feel a little like, oh, I just want like a quick answer, they've got a quiz that you can take and it finds you the perfect pair of eyeglasses for your face shape, budget, your style that you're looking for. When I'm not filming videos, I'm typically in one of these eyeglasses, but I also get my contacts all from GlassesUSA.com for 25% off, like brands like Acuvue, Dailies, all of that. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description for GlassesUSA.com because they always have great deals that are going on. They always have great styles to choose from. They've got kids glasses, safety glasses, pretty much whatever you're looking for, they've got it. So give your eyes what they need. Thank you GlassesUSA.com for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into the Thanksgiving feast. So maybe it's not a Thanksgiving feast, but there is like a giant turkey. I want you to try my turkey. I worked really hard on this.
Okay, then try first.
Yeah, try a bite of it. What do you think it's gonna taste like? Like
this?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, like an ice cream maybe?
Ice cream?
Maybe it is an ice cream, and it just looking like a turkey.
How did you know?
How did you know?
Really? Because it's frozen. Am I right?
Wait, I'm confused. Do you know or not know?
Just take a bite. Just take a bite, bro.
You know what? I'm just take a bite.
Bro, what's going on with those gloves, though? What's going on, Sanders?
My hand's kind of sweaty right now. It's an ice cream. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what?
Okay, on the outside doesn't look appealing,
Okay.
right? There's chocolate inside. Oh my goodness. Where'd you find this?
Wow.
It's all chocolate.
It's so good.
Holy.
Wow. This is so yummy.
I knew this wasn't turkey.
Right?
I just knew it. Like, how can you feed me a cold turkey?
What's in here? Just all chocolate,
Dig
you
it
think?
in. Ooh. No, I think there's something different. Right? They're pretty innovative.
Actually, really good.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
What do you think this is, though? The outer layer?
Like Rice Krispie.
Oh.
I mean, it's very vicious. I think it's the same thing.
Ah, it's the same
Really?
thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Man, there's no stuffing.
This was so good.
Mmm. You know what? I had to. Just keeps falling off.
Wait, that wasn't your real hair?
No. But this is. Everything else is. I don't know. Overnight, I just became old.
These are the spicy chicken littles.
Chicken Little.
Yes, I'm gonna dip it into some mashed potatoes.
So when did you found the company?
Yeah. Tell us about your journey.
You see, well, ever since I was a kid, excuse me, I just my parents always fed me chicken, and oh my and ever since then I really enjoy chicken, and I was like, I had a dream in 5th grade, you know, how about I open my own restaurant,
Yeah.
my own chain restaurants of just chicken.
Yeah. So you did this in 5th grade.
And it was tough, you know, my journey was tough. It took me like 60 years or so, but I did it.
Would you say you're self-made?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you single?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to think about it? Are you hiding
No,
something
I was
from me?
checking my ring. But,
So this guy just ate Nashville chicken tenders with ice cream. How was it?
It's so good. You guys should try it.
but let's try
Wow.
It's actually pretty nasty.
You motherfucker. Alright, last bite, and we're getting into today's story, which is about torture TV. This is the weirdest live stream that ever took place in Japan. It was live streamed, someone was live streaming butt naked in an apartment. He never left the apartment for close to 18 months.
it. What? Just
He was completely isolated.
always naked?
Always naked, live streaming.
Is that even legal?
He didn't wear any clothes for 18 months.
If I have to take a guess, I think
Blood.
Blood.
no.
Oh my god, cut it
Oh my
open.
god, blood.
Is this the popcorn chicken?
What?
Bro.
Are you kidding me? I knew there's something in there. I knew it.
So maybe there's more inside here.
Holy moly! How pretty is that? Oh, so much better.
Really?
Wow. I hate the
Let me
ice.
try, let me try.
Hate the chocolate ones. So much better.
I'm gonna break it from the back. Okay, the pink.
Right? That's good.
Now, America went through a torture TV phase where practically anything that you watched on TV was someone being in excruciating pain. So think of it as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We went through like a trivia question phase where it's like Jeopardy. Those were dominating the airwaves. Family Feud. You get to answer trivia questions. You get to win money. And then thus created the phase of Who Wants to Be Tortured for a little bit of money.
Kind of like Squid Game.
Yes, but yeah, probably just
How
as
much
bad.
money?
So back then, from 1998 to 2002, there was a Japanese show called Sansubu Dens. Listen, I'm even gonna put it right here because there's no way that I'm gonna pronounce it correctly. And it was essentially a torture TV reality show. So they would have contestants that would fly all the way to South Africa. They would give them like $10 and they would tell them, you have to find your way somehow all the way to Norway. We're not going to help you. We're going to film you, but you have to find your way to Norway. And if you do that, we're going to give you fame. We're going to give you a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit of money. And people would do it. There was another person who was deserted in the middle of an island off of Japan, and they were told, you have to make it back to Tokyo. We're not going to help you. We're going to sit here. The producers are going to eat in their little tents. They're going to have access to food, fresh water, all of that. But you two contestants have nothing. They had to build a raft that could swim across the ocean to the mainland Japan back to Tokyo. And all of it was filmed.
Pretty fascinating.
It's like The Survivor.
But how
Yeah.
much?
Not even a lot. Honestly, people did it for the fame. It's like the shows like The Bachelor. I mean, you're kind of embarrassing yourself a little bit maybe, but you get some fame, right? Now, Japan was not the only country that did this. There was a phase in American culture where we were obsessed with the idea of torture TV. I feel like it still exists, but back then I remember growing up and every channel that you turn on, someone was getting slimed on Nickelodeon and people were laughing. Nickelodeon, they would have just green slime.
Yeah.
So they would make you win an award and you're going up there, hair and makeup done, these like kid actors, nurse, and they're like, "Thank you so much. This has been my dream to win like a Nickelodeon Choice Award." And then they would just pour a bucket of green slime on you.
Like a massive amount.
Yeah.
Like the kid wants to get slimed.
I mean, I don't think that these
I don't know if they
people
can
wanna
choose,
get- yeah. Can you
but
choose?
they just do it.
Do you have choices at Nickelodeon?
I don't know.
Right?
Whoa,
So I have no
whoa, whoa.
idea.
So people watch it like, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Did you like it, Nene?
Back then, I was kind of fascinated. Like, what is that? I watched a lot of Fear Factor too.
Oh, God.
When I was a kid.
There was a show called Jackasses where it was eventually
yeah.
a bunch of dudes doing crazy stunts. I watched one where they put like Carolina Reaper pepper juice into their eyes.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hot sauces into their eyes, and I remember hating these shows because the main demographic for torture TV are dudes aged 18 to 35, which makes sense. So a lot of girls would be like, what the hell is going on? Why does anyone want to watch this? This is bizarre. So what took place was America felt like, hey, this is dangerous, this is fascinating, but it's just comfortable enough. We know that this is not an open, uncontrollable environment. It's somewhat controlled, and we put all of our faith into the producers and the networks to make sure that the contestants don't actually die, that nothing actually happens to them. So we felt safe. We felt good about ourselves watching it. We didn't feel like we were horrible people. So let me explain some of these. There was an ABC, I believe it was ABC, an ABC show called The Chair. How do you think it works?
The chair, it's like musical chair.
No.
You get electrified.
Wow, you guys would make some really good, crazy
I mean, I don't
TV
know.
shows.
When I think of chairs, I just think of that. I don't know.
The chair?
The
Oh.
Chair.
Or
Like they strap you on the chair and
and you
then,
get like hit. Or
So
something.
this is the transition from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, trivia TV game shows, to torture game shows, where essentially it was a merging of both of this. This would be answer trivia questions while you somewhat get tortured. So you would be strapped up to a chair in front of a live audience on stage, and you would have to answer trivia questions. Now they monitor your heartbeat through that the entire thing. If your heartbeat gets too slow beyond your like normal state, you lose money. If your heartbeat's too fast, you lose money.
Well, what's
if
wrong
you
with
answer,
too slow?
I don't know. If you answer the question wrong, you lose money, right? Now you're thinking, well, that's not that bad. Like your heart rate, maybe you're nervous from being on TV, maybe you're nervous about the live audience, but it shouldn't be that bad, right? Well, they had these Heartstopper events where in the middle of asking you a trivia question, they would drop onto stage live alligators.
Oh my.
Then another instance, they would get this giant steel pendulum and it would just be swinging back and forth right above your head, barely missing you. If you were to maybe get up an inch, you might get smacked with a pendulum. They would have guest appearances of beehive keepers who would show up with just a swarm of angry bees.
What?
And you'd have to keep your heart rate the same while you answer these trivia questions. They would have guest cameo appearances from very famous tennis stars, and they would pelt you with tennis balls. They would serve as hard as they could tennis balls close to your face.
But you won't get hit.
No, because they had like plexiglass.
Did they sign like a waiver or something?
I'm sure, right?
Probably.
So that was actually not a
my
show that they
God.
came up with just because they wanted to get into torture TV. No, they were in competition. So ABC Network made The Chair a show because Fox Network had created what's called The Chamber, and that was their torture TV show. Fox Network creates this TV show where essentially it's called The Chamber. You're answering these trivia questions, and if you get them right, you get chosen to go into the chamber. Typically, it's 2 chambers at a time. So you've got one person here, one person here. The longest lasting in that chamber gets like $100,000.
Oh, Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
But dangerous. So right before they open the door, they
Mr.
ask
Beast.
you,
I'm kidding.
they ask you, do you want $500 to not go in? Now most people don't take it because they're like $500. I could win $100,000. You want me to take not even $5,000? So they go into these chambers, and there's a hot and there's a cold one. If you go into the cold one, there's cold winds coming at you 40 miles per hour. The temperature drops below freezing level. They spray you with water so that all of that water on your face just
Frozen.
freezes into icicles.
Wow.
Yeah. They start spinning you around on a chair in the middle of this chamber. And if you go into the hot chamber, the temperatures are over 100 degrees. Now, heat rises, right? So what they would do is they would have you strapped to a chair and they would just bring you up and down to like 100 something plus degrees.
And then bring it back down to lower.
Yes. they would have flames shooting out of the walls at you.
No way.
Yes, while you answer trivia questions.
Where can I watch that?
No. So these,
Where can I enter? When can I enter?
these shows were canceled after like a season because nobody really liked them. They thought that this was too torturous, which I find to be very fascinating considering that Fear Factor, hosted by Joe Rogan himself, was around for many, many seasons. Many, many seasons. Let me tell you about some of the worst episodes of the Fear Factor. Which, by the way, the chamber was sued by a contestant who got hypothermia in one of the chambers. They also had plans to release like 5,000 flies into a chamber.
What is wrong with this?
Yeah, that was their... Oh, and yeah, electrocution was one of their future plans
No
for the next
way.
season as well. So,
Did anyone win?
no. I think like the most someone won was like $100,000.
So it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, but like imagine the trauma and the therapy and the medical bills that you gotta pay.
Like afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know if it's worth 100K.
So like in China,
Yeah.
so growing up, like sometimes I don't know what it is. There are certain channels they will air a few episodes of American shows. Does that make any sense? Like very rarely. Just like you switch channel, all of a sudden like you see this like random American shows on TV.
Okay.
And I've seen some like Fear Factor stuff on there. And it's always like, when I see it, it's always, my feeling was like, am I on dark web or something? Does that make sense? It's just so gruesome and so unbelievable to what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I? This is what's
true.
going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, isn't it like you eat roaches and stuff?
Yo, I still remember like one episode. There was, oh my god, they were in a transparent box and their face, just only their face, and tarantula, full of tarantulas, like just, oh god.
Jesus.
Let me tell you about the worst episodes of Fear Factor. There was one that was called Will It Blend. What do you think they did?
Will it blend?
Will It Blend?
With a blend.
You put like roaches in the blender. Tarantula in the blender. And then you drink it.
Will it blend?
You make a smoothie out of it and you drink it.
There is an episode like that, but this particular episode, each contestant was given a raw, dead rat. And they had to blend the raw, dead rat and drink all of the slush and gush of a raw, dead rat. Yes.
What do you have to say about that, Sander?
You
Not
watched
good.
The Fear Factor. Why'd you watch that, huh?
Huh? It's for entertainment.
Fascinating. They had to literally drink the liquefied remains of a rat. There was another episode where they had just vats and vats of cow blood. You would have to stick your face into this cow blood, which, by the way, is thick. There's a lot of other fleshy parts. It's not just like pure, movie set studio blood. It's cow's blood.
I've
There's
seen
like
that.
tissue around.
You have to drink it.
No, you have to stick your face in
Oh,
there
look for
and
the key.
look for keys.
Oh.
Just with your face, but people can't see. People would come out throwing up blood. Their eyeballs would be red because of the blood. And can you imagine? It doesn't smell great. The idea that it's cow's blood. There was something called worm wine, where you know how those cute little reality shows like on The Bachelor, you go on a date in Napa Village or Napa Valley or whatever, and you step on the grapes and you make wine and you drink it, your cheers, right? Well, in this episode, they had a vat full of worms. Live worms that they had to step on to collect the juice of these stepped on worms, and they had to drink it.
What?
Yeah. There was one episode where you had to split off into teams, like couples, pairs. Oh, did you know that they had one where it was just exes? Like the whole season was just exes came onto the Fear Factor to win money.
Like X?
Yeah, but they already broke up. So now there's like the dynamic of like, I tell you, reality TV is something else, okay? So they had this one episode where one of the partners had to lay in a tub full of leeches for minutes. They come out, their leeches are sucking their blood, they're stuck on their body. The other partner had to only use their mouth to
pull it
suck the
off.
leeches off and put it into a container and then eat the ones that were soaked in blood. Now, this one guy had eaten a leech, but I guess he started coughing in the middle of the show, and he bends over, everyone's worried about him, and he throws up a full leech that had been stuck on his throat.
That's gross.
Why do I feel like I've watched all those episodes?
I feel like it's so common, like these concepts.
How did
There was
they-
another one where you were talking about the transparent box,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they had released, I think, tens of thousands of flies. So your head was in a box trapped with flies, and there were marshmallows hanging from the top of the box, and you had to somehow get the marshmallows into your mouth. But these flies have nowhere to go. So the contestants would later say that there were flies in every single opening of their head. Their ears, their mouths, their nose, they had flies everywhere. Now back to the Japanese show, okay? The Japanese show is not worse than X Factor, but it is it's a little bit different. I feel like the Japanese show is more about psychological impacts and about watching what happens. So for example, the contestants that were dropped off in South Africa and told to get to Norway, it took them months. One of them had to be airlifted out of the Sahara Desert because they had fainted. They didn't have water. All they could do was beg people for some change, for rides, for some food. They had nothing. Meanwhile, the producing crew, they're eating McDonald's and filming them the whole time. Just enjoying them, thinking about all the ratings that they're gonna get, okay? So people loved this show so much, and it really, really helped that a lot of the producers on the show, they really only casted comedians. So their whole thing was they were looking for starting up comedians instead of going to the comedy club and, trying to do stand-up, trying to get your name out there. You apply for this show, and if you're elected, you're gonna be on national TV. I mean, at one point, this show had more active viewers than Game of Thrones. So I'm not saying collective viewers, but active as in when it airs. And Japan is a much smaller country than English-speaking countries collectively, because Game of Thrones, people in the UK watch, people, in the US. Like, it's a pretty small country population-wise. They had like 17 million people watching at one point, active when it aired.
Wow.
So that it's a lot, right? You would immediately get famous, you would get brand deals from it. So a lot of these comedians, they would apply. A lot of the time, these contestants on the Japanese show would go days without any food. Days, I tell you. They also had an international segment where they would sit someone down and they would say, your whole objective to this, right? We might support you with some cash, we might support you with some funding, but we want you, without an appointment, without our help, get to the President of the United States, get an appointment with them and tell them you hate them. Another objective was to meet Princess Diana. Another objective was to shave the beard off of Fidel Castro, the Cuban leader.
How's that possible?
Yeah, they did not win. Another objective was to play rock, paper, scissors, shoot with the Russian leader.
So kind of like a roulette.
Yeah, kind of like a genuine rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay,
Bruh.
there's just someone ready. You lose, you get shot. Yeah, with the Russian leader. Obviously, that didn't happen as well. They had to confront dangerous animals like crocodiles, polar bears, black bears. I think brown bears, are those the most... I don't know. What are those bears?
I heard brown bears, you gotta,
Show us what you do if you see a bear.
Wait. No, seriously. There's for black bear, apparently you gotta, I think you gotta run.
No, I think that's the opposite.
Just don't listen to this dude's
And
advice,
not
guys.
move at all. No. And then,
Bears run so fast.
I know, but you just gotta try. And
What about Panda Bear?
But panda bear is okay. But polar bear,
Okay.
you're done.
What?
No, I'm serious. It's a fact. It's a fact. Like,
That's a fact. No cap.
no cap.
No, I heard with bears you gotta do this. Okay, this is what I read.
Anyways,
I gotta Google this.
I'm serious.
Can you run away from a bear?
It's-
It says in caps, do not run. If the bear is standing...
Oh, we got a bear coming.
Where?
Oh,
hell
no. It says, if the bear is standing still, move away slowly and sideways. Avoid tripping. Maintain eye contact. Moving away sideways is also non-threatening to bears. Do not run. If the bear slowly follows you, stop. Hold your ground.
For all bears?
Any bear.
Where do you even see a polar bear then? Where are you going? Coca-Cola factory? Where are you going?
I mean, that is like 20 minutes from here.
Bears can run as fast as 30 miles per hour. Make yourself look as big as possible by spreading your arms.
Oh, that's why you did this?
Yes, fight back. Don't ever play dead. Yeah, so don't lay down. All of your advice was like just the worst advice that you could give.
Nah.
This is also the guy that goes camping, okay? So they had these challenges. Now, this particular season would be the most explosive season of this Japanese reality show. There was a comedian who applied to be on the show without knowing what his challenge was going to be. Was he going to go meet the US president? Was he going to go be stranded in a different continent? He had no idea. But his name was Nasubi. Now, Nasubi is not his real name. It's actually a nickname, and it's Japanese for eggplant. So why do you think people called him Nasubi?
His favorite vegetable is eggplant.
He had a big vegetable.
He likes to eat big vegetable.
He likes to eat big vegetables, or he had a big vegetable? You guys are disgusting. To hell with both of you, okay? It's because he had a very long face. He had a 30-centimeter face, okay? It was almost a foot long, so people called him eggplant because.
How is that better than he likes
I don't know.
eggplant?
Okay, so he had a really long face.
Oh
They
my
called him
God.
Eggplant. He applies to the show, and the producers say, well, we need you to come down to our Tokyo apartment, and we're going to ask you a couple more questions. You might get elected. Now, he did not know that the show was already started. They had already chosen him. This wasn't a second round of, testing. He had been chosen as the next star. So he gets invited to the Tokyo apartment, where they immediately start filming him. The entire apartment that he walked into was filled to the brim with microphones, cameras that he couldn't turn away, that he couldn't turn off. There was a stand of magazines. There was some paper and pens on the coffee table. There was like a mattress on the floor. Nothing else. There was no food. There was nothing fun. There was no TV. There was really nothing. Like, he just had some running water. Nothing else.
So like prison.
Yeah. And they told him, well, you need to take off all of your clothes. He got butt naked, and because of his name Nasubi, they also would Photoshop an eggplant over his eggplant during his live streams even. They would have like 30 different producers just sitting there nonstop moving the eggplant in real time with his movements. Yes, I'm serious. So they told him that your objective is to stay in solitude, butt naked in this apartment. You have no food, you have no water, you have absolutely nothing except for these magazines. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go through the magazines and look for magazine giveaways. So back then, this was a lot more popular than it is now. You would open up a magazine and they'd say, we're giving away 100 people a bag of rice. We're giving away, blah, blah, blah. So you would have to write a letter to them on why you should win this. They would randomly pick like 100 people, like an internet giveaway. So they have Nasubi in a room and he's confused why they're just magazines. And they ask the burning question, can a man live just on giveaways alone? And they slam the door shut without his underwear, without his clothes, with no food, with no money, absolutely nothing. Just cameras and microphones all over the place. The rules of his reality show is that he cannot eat, he cannot ask for food and water. The only thing he can do is spend his entire day writing into these magazine giveaways, hoping to win prizes. And if he wins $10,000 worth of prizes, they will release him. I mean, obviously he can quit, but I don't think that he could quit, right? Now, he assumed, this is the really messed up part. He assumed that all of this was going to be pre-recorded. He thought that they would record it, edit out all the random parts, and then put in the fun parts, air the season like they do with like most reality shows like The Bachelor, right? But instead, they were live streaming him for majority of the time. Like in real time, they were live streaming him. So he gets to work. He's sitting butt naked, writing thousands. I think during his entire 12 months that he was stuck in there, he wrote over 70,000 letters for giveaways.
Oh my God.
And that's how that resulted in $10,000. So for days, he didn't have any food until finally, like 4 days in, he wins a bag of rice, a small bag of rice. It gets delivered by a local delivery man. That was his happiest moment because not only does he get rice, but he gets human interaction. So he cooks the rice, he eats it. They said it was suspenseful because this guy, his life could be saved or it could be over. This whole game show could be over if he doesn't win any food. The most depressing was when Nasubi won things like a bike. He also won some movie tickets, and at first he was just so excited. He got the bike in the little studio apartment. He's jumping up and down. He's so happy, and then you see his face fall on the live stream, and he gets so sad because he realizes he's trapped inside. He can't even use the bike. He tries to pedal around in the apartment. None of it works. His main objective, though, wasn't even food. His main goal was to get clothing. I mean, he just felt so naked. But the only thing that he could win was some lingerie, some pants that were too small, some socks, and some Adidas shoes that I think fit perfectly. I mean, it was just bizarre, right? So a lot of people had just skepticism about this. Really, he didn't even win one t-shirt. He worked so hard trying to win a giveaway for an apron, a free apron, that he didn't get it because he just wanted to cover his private part. But he never won. So who's to say maybe the producers could intercept deliveries, maybe they could fake deliveries. We don't really know. But he took the nation by storm. People in Japan loved him because, think about it, this guy's situation is shitty. Sure, you could say he's trying to get famous, but overall, it's pretty lonely. I mean, he's in solitude. It's just a weird place to be. But he was so positive the whole time. Now, was it him being positive, or was it the fact that they obnoxiously edited in laugh tracks in the most depressing moments ever that made it seem positive? I don't know. The dude is eating dry dog food because he ran out of food, and all he could eat for days was dog food that he had won, and they're just throwing in laugh tracks while he's like crying. So
I think he's better off gambling at a casino.
yeah.
Like, honestly.
Like, it was just bizarre. So he also wins like random things that he didn't really need to use. He wins some food. He won a tent. He won nice car tires, like premium auto tires. He won a watermelon. He won lots of canned food, but no can opener.
Okay.
Now you're gonna win a can opener.
Yeah. He was also very ecstatic when he won toilet paper.
Oh.
So that tells you there was no toilet paper there.
So what do you use?
I don't know. Okay, so there was no toilet paper. Maybe he uses the magazines, the non-giveaway papers. But he wrote a lot every day. He would spend majority of his time writing these letters. The room that he's in nonstop is dead silent. There's no noise in that room. There's nothing that makes noise. So he resorted to talking to a teddy bear that he had won. People thought that he was losing his mind. The producers, I mean, sure, maybe they checked on him to make sure that he wasn't dead, but they didn't necessarily entertain him. They didn't socialize with him. So he's talking to this stuffed animal, and finally he gets a TV. So his TV set, he hooks it up and he's so excited, but it's just static. Now it's presumed that the producers made sure that he didn't get a cable connection, because then he would realize that he's all over the news. He's all over the TV. He's watching himself, okay?
That's so troll.
Then eventually, without even winning toilet paper for the first 10 months, he wins a PlayStation, and he hooks that baby up and he plays for 4 days nonstop, because for months he had no entertainment. He had nothing to stimulate his mind, his brain. He had nothing but himself. This is solitary confinement, okay? So he played for 4 days straight without even sleeping, and then he realized that if he keeps doing this, he's never gonna get out. So he put the PlayStation away, never played it again. So he continued to write letters. At the 12th month, this is like the peak of his viewership. Like 17 million people and counting. That's more people than the active watchers of the last Game of Thrones season. So he's famous. The producers are making money off of this guy, okay? The network is making money off this guy. And on that last, 12 months in, he wins a tiny bag of rice, pushing his reward up to $10,000. So he's freaking out. He's so excited. He tells the producers, "Are you kidding me? I'm so stoked." And they said, "We're going to take you on vacation to South Korea." Woo! So they take him to South Korea, where not as many people know him, right? Because if he were to go out in Japan, everyone would be just all over him. So he gets to South Korea. They take him to an amusement park. They record it, showing like, "See, we're not that bad of people. Look at us. We're taking him to Disneyland." So he's out having a blast, and they say, "Okay, well, can you just come into this apartment? This is where you're staying tonight."
Another wow
No
starts.
way, bro.
Where they tell him, "Now, you will get your prize when you find first-class tickets back to Japan."
Season 2.
Is this
And
like
they
a-
leave him
this is like
in the apartment
Those movie.
Yeah.
with no clothes.
This is season 2.
Because could they give up that juicy viewership now? No, they couldn't.
But-
So for 4 to 5 months, he's alone, isolated, naked, and being live streamed again. And
You're
he
kidding me.
finds first class tickets back to Tokyo in 4 to 5 months. I don't know how he did it through those little sweepstakes, but he did it. So he gets on a plane and he gets back to Tokyo. The producers take him and they say, "Okay, well, now you're gonna go into this like final lobby where we're gonna interview you about your experience, right?" So they blindfold him. They take him into this little waiting room where he's sitting. He's butt naked, by the way, still. And all of a sudden, all the 4 walls of this room drop down. And he looks around.
No.
And he's on stage. And there's a live audience clapping. And he has no idea what the fork is going
You
on.
can't make this up.
So he's
This is-
looking around very confused, then he realizes he's naked and he puts a pillow on top of his, eggplant and he stands up and he awkwardly waves and he keeps asking the producers, why are they laughing? What's going on? Why are they clapping? And the producer tells him, because you're a star.
Yeah.
So he finds out that that entire thing was being live streamed. It was not pre-recorded. People were watching him every step of the way, and they freaking loved him. Now, here's the problem. Any momentum that he was going to get from this show was lost. Because after 18 months of not talking to anyone, of not wearing clothes, he said the minute that he put on clothes for the first time, he would break out into a rash. Even like
What?
100% cotton shirts. Because your body is not used to it. You feel like you can't breathe. It's itchy. It feels like it's rubbing against you.
Well, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's cool.
And on top of that, he also said that he had a hard time making eye contact with people for months, even talking to people, which is crazy because Nasubi before this was a comedian. He was very sociable. He is again now, but right after this experience, he just couldn't even hold a conversation. He felt really weird. So he became very depressed. He became very included or very introverted, didn't go outside, isolated himself, and he lost a lot of fame in that way. Now, there was some hype, though. I think that he did make some money because there was when he had won this cup noodle, like a ramen. He was so excited. He was eating it so deliciously, and that ramen noodle company had bought that for an ad of him eating butt naked ramen, super ecstatic, like pure emotions, just like so happy. Yeah. So now he is an actor in his hometown. He does mainly like stage performances. So like think of it like a theater or a play. But he said that the experience was a lot of people expected him to be mad at the producer. And the producer came forward and said, I apologize to Nasubi, but he made great TV and I would do it all over again. And Nasubi said, I'm not really that mad at the producers because technically it was their job, but they did really emotionally traumatize me for years to come. So eventually, Japan, the government, had started cracking down on these torture TV shows. And there was just a lot of scandal around him. So apparently, some people had taken a picture of those people that were supposed to travel all the way from South Africa to Norway being in a plane cabin with the producers. So they're like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
You mean staged?
Is it staged, right? So I think a lot of the aspects of this show were potentially staged, but I don't think Nasubi's season was staged. Because, essentially it was live streamed, and he was traumatized. Like, he really did not get enough fame out of this, really, which is what he wanted. I feel really bad for this guy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Would you watch something like this? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on this case, and make sure to check out glassesusa.com, linked in the description, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!